Hello, and welcome to an all-new episode on the Voyage Within podcast. I am your host, Brittany Jackson, and I specialize in personal development and how to live an authentic life leading from your heart. Today, I found myself with a heavy message on my heart that I felt the need to share with you. I've mentioned in previous podcast episodes that I have been sober 6 years this month, and it has been quite the journey since then. There has been a lot of awakenings, a lot of unbecoming who I was not, a lot of becoming who I am, a lot of learning and growing and healing, and the journey has not stopped. I feel like I have opened Pandora's box. There is always something new to see, something new to work on, something new to pay attention to. And I was talking to my therapist the other day that life just seems so hard when I'm looking at all of these painful, hard things that I need to work through or heal from. And that, in a way, sometimes it can feel very discouraging because it feels like there's always something else. It feels like an onion, and I can't stop finding new layers. And she had said, well, what does healing look like to you? Like, what does that mean to you? And I really thought about that because what it has meant to me so far is overcoming. And the definition of overcoming to me is getting on the other side of something. But I think what I used to think was to get on the other side as if that thing never happened. Like to pretend it never happened. To heal so much that whatever that thing I'm working through or trying to overcome won't affect me at all for the rest of my life. And I'm starting to realize my unrealistic expectations with this. And now I have a new understanding of healing. Healing is not to overcome something as if it never happened. Healing is to learn a new way on how to carry it. That thing that you are trying to overcome and heal from, it happened, and it is always going to be a part of you. So it is about how can you live with that thing happily? How can you live with something that felt like a curse and make it a gift? Is that possible? Is it just a perspective shift? In my program, they say nothing in God's world happens by mistake, and they also say that we won't regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. And that's what I was realizing that I was doing and trying to pretend that it never happened was shut the door on it. When hard things happen to us in life and we have to find a way to cope and carry it, we can look at that thing as presenting us with a lesson that is going to become one of our greatest values. Once I first took the journey to learn about myself and awaken, I had a mentor, and she had said, your greatest pains will become your greatest purposes. And that had really spoke to me because I didn't know what she meant at the time, and I was intrigued to understand what she meant. It gave me hope that what I was struggling with at that time was going to make sense to me one day. It gave me hope that there was a light at the end of the tunnel. So I took a chance on me. I took a chance on life, and I saw the journey through. And what I didn't know that day, when I was willing to take a look at the woman in the mirror and find out who she was not, and who she needed to be, I didn't know that it was going to be a lifelong journey, that it was going to be one of my greatest values and one of my greatest purposes. I mentioned that I will be 6 years sober, but I didn't really start working on myself until 4 years ago. So the first 2 years of my sobriety, I was still living in a lot of the toxic behaviors or patterns I was living in before. I made that change. How I see my life before starting to work on myself, and in my case, that prompt of getting sober, I see it as living on default and autopilot from my subconscious. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted or what I needed, and I just showed up the only way I knew how, which honestly wasn't very conscious, intentional, loving, peaceful, at times not very kind at all. And so as I've built this awareness of myself, of who not to be and how not to show up, and finding a way that I believe in and that works for me on how to show up, I've become a woman that I want to be. I've become a person that I value and I respect and I take care of. And that's why I have been on this journey as long as I have. So going back to this work of self-development can be really hard, and it can feel like a really long road sometimes. That's when I have to remind myself that this too shall pass, but then there will be something else at some point. And that's the way life works. It's not about just staying in the lows, and it's not about staying in the highs, and it's about remembering all of that in between. All of that uncertainty, that discontentment, that I'm just okay, or this is good enough. And if you're anything like me, I don't like to feel the bad stuff. I don't like to feel the uncomfortable stuff, the hurt stuff. That's why I would use substances. It was a way of dissociating and denying and just pretending everything was okay when it really wasn't. Or the only way I knew how to connect with people or be myself or open up to others. If I was altered in some way, I didn't know how to be me. And honestly, who I really am, I am very sensitive. I feel and think very, very deeply. And I don't want to say it's nonstop, but I have to work hard to not be in those states. Find ways that I can let loose, have fun, and meditate, be fully present in my life and not ruminate on the past or fear the future. I heard this quote one time that said, if you are too much in the past, you are depressed. And if you are too much in the future, you are in anxiety. And the only way to have peace is this moment, right here, right now. And that's why it is so important for me to put my bare feet in the grass, to really look at the sunset, to smell the flowers, to put my hand over my heart and connect to my heartbeat, to focus on my breath. Those things bring me right here, right now. That's why meditation is such a big part of my practice, and I have been meditating every day now for the last 2 years. I also run a group in my community that starts off with meditation. And if you don't know, I started recording meditations and I upload them to Insight Timer. If you ever feel like meditating with me, you can find me under my name, Brittany Jackson, and I love creating new meditations for my listeners on there. So how those pains have become my purposes is, for one, I have been able to use my experiences to help somebody else through a similar situation they may be going through. And I love helping other people on the journey discover themselves. That's what's my passion and purpose now, is to help others, because I have been helped and I have been shown the way. And I've learned so many different things from so many different people, and I want to share these valuable gifts. I think we are all meant to be teachers, to help somebody in some way. Any job that you have, you at some point end up having to train and teach somebody else, because we are all so valuable and we have valuable information to share. I was once told recently that to make a really good teacher, you have to be a really good student. And I definitely feel like I have been a very good student. I have taken it very seriously and I have worked really hard to learn all these new ways of life that I want to apply to my own, these practices that I do each day. And on this platform, I'm learning to have confidence in being a teacher. I will always be a student of life. I will always learn and grow, but I also want to help teach and guide the way for those that may relate to where I have been, or maybe they want to learn something I now know. We're all in this life together doing the best we can. I have peace and grace for the wounded parts of me that acted out or didn't understand what I was doing or didn't mean to do what I had done because I didn't know better. I didn't know then what I know now. I think it's more about when we can face our past, when we can accept and feel our hurt, is then when we can start to carry it different. After my last breakup, I had did a meditation about heartbreak. And what I loved about this meditation was it channeled me to really feel the heartbreak, to honor that it was there, to honor that it was okay to feel and be present with that. And what this teacher had said was all of that energy that I feel from that past relationship is energy that is still going to carry on with me today, but it is going to look different. And that pain of that breakup and that relationship not working out, that has become one of my most valuable gifts because I have learned so much more about who I am, what I want, and what I need in a partner that I share my life with. And having that clarity and that confidence of who I am and where I am headed for my future, I couldn't ask for anything better than that. And he was one of my greatest teachers. And we are allowed to carry on the energy of our past experiences, our past pains, our past loves, our past lessons, our past struggles. That's what makes us have so much depth and so much dimension. I may be a really deep person and it may be really hard to go to those depths at times, but I would rather access that depth and live a really deep, beautiful, meaningful life than not access that part of me at all and live in the naiveness and the blindness of what I once thought I knew. A lot of those subconscious consisted of things that maybe I perceived that my family did, or things that I thought friends wanted of me, or things I had to do to earn a relationship, or who I thought I was supposed to show up as in the world, or what society or culture had told me was the way I needed to be. And that is what I mean, is breaking free of all of the things that don't serve me or wasn't who I truly was, and learn how to carry all of those lessons, all of that energy, and all of that beauty differently. All the past people that we have met and experienced, it could be past intimate relationships, friendships, family members, even coworkers, acquaintances, anyone we had a falling out with, those can all be used as mirrors to look back into ourselves. The journey of life is to get to know ourselves, to experience this life with. We hear it all the time that you're born alone and you die alone. And there's support, right? There's people around when we're born and people around when we die. But I think what they mean is like our journey is really our own. No one else is going to understand and feel and experience all the things that we will along our life. It's ours. It's unique and it's valuable. And even people in my support groups that maybe have gone through something similar, it is still very different. There's a lot of differences in the dynamics or how we felt. We all feel things and perceive things differently. And that's why I think humans are so beautiful and so interesting. They're the most magical puzzle pieces that could ever exist. And that's why I love being a part of the existence of all that is, walking hand in hand with anybody that I can to help make this life the best it can be. Don't let the struggles break you. Don't let them weigh you down. Celebrate them to become better, to become your best self. When I was talking to my therapist about how hard all of this work is, facing these demons, right? These struggles, these memories, these experiences, these mistakes. She said, "You know what I love about you, Brittany, is you wear your heart so authentically on your sleeve time and time again, no matter how many times you've been knocked down." She's like, "Do you know how many people get hurt and then shut down and they never open back up? And what a shallow existence to live. Because the beauty is in connection. And a lot of times we connect through pain. When I share my pain here with you on this platform, when I share my pain with my therapist or my friends or my family or my mentor, I am sharing some of the deepest parts of me where that pain, which is what? Love? Hurt? Sometimes that can be love and hurt for ourselves if someone else hurt us. Or maybe love and hurt that we had hurt somebody else. I think our spirits want what's best for us, and I think our spirits want us to do the right thing and be good people. And boy, do we try. Some harder than others. But I think our spirit is pure, and I think we can all access that beauty and that magic if we believe in the miracle of doing the hard things to get the good results. That's also another conversation me and my therapist had, is I'm like, why does everything seem so hard to try to get to be happy? And she said, do you think happy and hard is really all that different? Because maybe we have to go through hard things to then experience happiness. Maybe that's the point. That's the celebration on the other side of the journey. And all that pain and pressure in between are the things that help us grow, evolve, and learn. So can you get happy without pain? I mean, delivering a child, that's one of the most painful things you could ever do. And holy crap, that happiness on the other side. Or getting that job, that discomfort of whatever you had to do to prepare for that, maybe working jobs you didn't like, or school, or that really boring long training. And then you got the job, and then you get the paycheck. What's the paycheck after all that hard work? What about the relationship that sticks through it for years and years and years, that thing we say we all want? You got to put in work, right? But with somebody, I think that makes the work enjoyable, makes the work fun, so then maybe it doesn't feel so heavy. But what do they say? Hard work pays off. Maybe the hard and the happiness can be the same thing. Maybe it's a perspective shift, or maybe it's a matter of time between the hard part in the beginning and the happiness along the way. Preferably, not just at the end. Try to find the happiness in every day, the happiness in the struggle. I think that's the key. And embrace all the energy of what's been, what is, and what will be. I do a journal exercise every night where I write down my favorite moments from that day, because there's good in every day. It's a lot similar like doing a gratitude list and saying the things that you're grateful for. What are you grateful for? What do you have in the hurt and the pain? Where's the beauty? Where's the beauty in the work, in the challenge, and the struggle? Because it's there. You just have to look for it. There's a podcaster I love named Mel Robbins, and she had shared this experiment where she or somebody else had told somebody to look for a heart-shaped object throughout their day. It could be in the clouds or on a leaf or in your coffee. Just look for a heart-shaped object and you will find it, like a scavenger hunt. And I had did that exercise when I was at the gym because I like to listen to podcasts while I work out. And so I'm looking everywhere for a heart. And I thought it was going to take me all day. And before you know it, I saw a heart tattoo on a guy's leg in front of me. And then I also saw the little red heartbeat on the cardio machine that had always been there, but I had never paid attention to. I had never seen. The irony, right? When we actually try to look for something, and that's where perspective matters. I would like to go into some affirmations. Feel free to say these out loud or repeat them to yourself, but feel them. Feel them. Be present with them. I can do hard things. I am so strong and I have overcome everything I have ever been through. On the other side of this challenge or this darkness is a light. The hard journey will always be there, but I choose to find the light along the way. I'd like to say a prayer if you'd like to invite in your higher power, your God, your Mother Earth, your Father Fire. God, thank you so much for this day and this time here on this podcast with this listener. I pray that they know how valuable they are, how valuable their experiences and their lessons are, and that they can overcome anything they choose to overcome, anything that they don't want to do anymore or a certain way they don't want to be anymore. I pray that they believe in themselves and they know that what they want, what they desire is possible. I pray that they have the courage to do the hard thing because the hard thing will pay off. I pray that they have faith in the journey and in the outcome. I pray that they know that they are never alone, that you are always with them, always willing to show a sign when they are ready, but also all of the people in their life that are there to support them, guide them, and help lighten the load. A pain shared is a pain cut in half. Amen. Thank you so much for joining me here today. You are so valuable, and it means so much to me that you are here. I am so proud of you for all the work that you're doing on yourself, even just listening to these podcast episodes. I know it's so beautiful the way that you receive these messages and interpret them in any way that you do. I hope you believe in yourself. You deserve good things. If you enjoy listening to these podcasts, please share them with somebody and help get this to somebody else that needs to hear these messages. And please feel free to contact me and let me know how this podcast has helped you on your journey, so I know I'm not alone too. Until next time, live well and be happy.